we going? What are we doing now? Look at all these people searching for a reason, searching for a peace of mind.
Can you take a deep breath with me? Breathe in, breathe in, breathe in, breathe in, breathe.
Welcome, everyone, to the Community Action Network's Candid Talks. The Community Action Network is a group of influential women that are dedicated to building stronger families to help build stronger communities. And tonight, we're going to do that by exploring the arts and having a candid talk with the oh so talented Altina Sims. Altina Sims is a lady of great talent and creativity. She has authored two books titled Community Breech and Broken Images. Her book, Broken Images, is documented and displayed in the Finding Our Roots African American Museum. Also, Altina is a spoken word engineer. She has co hosted an open mic night at the legendary Sweet Lorraine's Jazz Club in New Orleans, Louisiana. She has performed on several platforms, including the NAACP events and events for cultural diversity and social injustices. She is passionate about improving the community and uplifting voices that may have fallen on deaf ears. Outside of writing and performing, Altina is an entrepreneur. She owns a jewelry business called Pieces of Me. For those that are tuning in up with us tonight, I present to you Altina Sims.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you
And
for having
so I have to tell you, I have to be honest and tell you how this got started.
me.
When I realized I would have the opportunity to interview you, I was sent different links and I saw you perform, and it was amazing. And this is the My Black is So Beautiful, the addressing anxiety. And so when I'm watching you, and this is virtually just watching you on the screen, I'm like, oh my goodness, your authenticity, the how you just, I felt empowered and uplifted just by watching you on the screen. So when I tell you that it's my honor, it's my pleasure to be able to speak with you tonight, I just want to say thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me out.
Yes, so let's get started. Start by telling us how long have you been writing and how did you get started?
Okay, I've been writing since middle school. I
Ooh,
remember whenever I was younger, I remember the teacher, she submitted my essay to be judged in, the writing contest. And I remember winning honorable mention. And that was like my first time, like, oh my gosh. I was excited.
yes,
It was an accomplishment.
yes, yes.
Um,
Okay, so this has been going on in middle school. And
uh-huh.
was this more like writing just a short story or was it poetry?
It was everything. Like I did not even know I was a poet before I became a poet. I used to read my aunt's letters on the wall, and I used to make music to it, like, oh, I'm gonna rap this out because this sounds good. Because I was crazy
Mm-hmm.
about rappers and stuff. Michael Jackson was my boyfriend. Like,
Yes,
yeah,
okay, yes.
yeah,
So
yeah.
being that you have authored books, you've done spoken word, and like I said, I have enjoyed them in the finished form. But what I want to
Okay.
dive into, what is your creativity process? Walk me through how you come and create so I can see how the magic is formed.
Okay, so sometimes I'll just write a line, or, I can write about how I feel, or, if I'm having an off day or on day. Whatever it is, I just write. I just write whatever it is. If you capture the moment of
Okay.
whatever your thought is almost like it's broken down like that. I break it down into pieces like that. Like the let's talk about my first book, Broken Images,
Okay.
Mistaken Identity. That was in a place where I lost my son. He was 8 years old and he had
Mhm.
passed. And like depression was trying to grip the life out of me. And I remember writing about how I felt. I remember writing about, being angry or being happy. It was like day by day, just expression of how I felt. And in the process, I mean, I ended up having questions about myself, and it was like questioning about who I am as a person and how am I going to get through this. So I started with those things, but in the middle of writing, I found the answer to some of those questions. I found the answer to some of those questions. And that book ended up being a healing process for me. Like that book was awesome. I wrote my way out of it. And God, like, He's been amazing ever since.
Was
Yes.
was that your first book?
That's the first
Broken-
book, the self-help, and it also helps with healing poetry book. And the second book is Community Breach, because
Okay.
God opened up the door for me to be on a platform with other intelligent men and women. Behind
Mhm.
closed doors, we'll have different conversations about how we can heal the community. And I was like, it'll be pretty dope to bring that conversation out into the opening. So
Yes.
community is actually a conversation that happened behind closed doors. I said, let me write it down. Let me offer it to the people. So let's talk about it outside of closed doors and make it a bigger
Yes.
conversation. Yes, yes, yes.
So let's go back to your first book. One thing you
Okay.
said that I thought was just so intriguing is you were writing, you had a personal loss, and
Yes,
through writing, you found healing. And
yes,
the healing that you found with writing now
yes.
is blessing others to be healed as they read and they go through your journey that you've written.
Correct, correct. Just from writing down how you feel. It's therapy. It's really therapy because it's like if you hold things in, sometimes you'll be angry because nobody knows what's going on. But the more you open up and get those things out, it becomes like beautiful medicine. Like that's what it becomes to others. Yes,
That
yes,
is really beautiful. And
yes.
when you did your first book, what was
Mhm.
the process of even getting it published? Just from coming up, I know where the idea came from a personal experience, but how did you go about getting it published?
Um, well, I started collecting it, not just on the computer and writing and scribblings. I was like, okay, let me go ahead and type it up. So I'm telling you about the very small steps of what it is. I said, let me type it up. I was like, let me break it down and let me make it make sense, because it had to talk about every different step. And it had to include my process. So as I wrote it down, I was like, let me go. I had to force myself to get out of the house. So I would go to the library and I would make sure I type it up, almost like I give myself an assignment every day. And I would
Okay.
go and I type it up and I get my thoughts down and get the poetry down. And then it just started coming together. Like it just started flowing. It started making sense to me because at first I was like, I heard I'm going to write a book. And I'm like, who said that?
Ah,
I'm like, who said that? Like, who wants to hear what I'm going, what's going on with me? But I was like, okay, cool. It sounds good. But as I started doing the process, the more open I became to it. I did the process of writing, of course. I put it down in physical form. Then I started collecting it as a book. And
mhm,
then I started making it almost like into steps, like, okay, each book has a letter, each chapter has a letter that I write
mhm,
about my even more in depth about the personal experience, as far as it was a poem, but I wrote more in depth about what the poem was about and what I was experiencing in the moment. And the things that I was finding out what it was attached to, which was what I was saying, the process, the healing of it. I talked about it, but also I talked about the healing and the smaller, pieces that I put out. Yeah, yeah,
wow. I like that. I
yeah.
really like that. And And I ask because so many times when we read the finished product, we
Mm-hmm.
have no idea of, man, how did they write this? So that's all I was like, yeah, I want to hear just the journey and going through it. And with the
Yes.
second book,
Mm-hmm.
Community Breach, what
Mm-hmm.
type of conversations? I remember you said it was conversations y'all were having that you want to make sure that those conversations get out. Tell me something about these conversations that you guys are having.
Okay, those conversations was just like, okay, we always talked about the healing, right? Because I was always used as a spoken word artist to go and speak about the issues that were going on. So, of course, when you're a spoken word artist, your God's gift to be a mouthpiece to speak upon the issues, but not only speak about the issues, speak about the process of the healing the issues.
Yes,
Let's talk about whenever we write it down, that's one thing. But when we open our mouth and add action to those words, that's
yes,
another. So even in that, just sitting amongst other people, like how can we throw events for people that needs to hear the words that we're saying? Okay. So that's how it happened. And it was like I was always in rooms that people were like, okay, we got to get an event going so we can talk about healing or talking about, how important it was to discuss what was going on, the process. So those things happened, and it was like, okay, how dope would it be to just not just have five people in the conversation, but make it a huge conversation? Include
yes.
everyone, not exclude anyone, because it's okay if you got one person, but when two agree, it's a totally different thing. Yeah.
Yes. I
Yes.
really like that. And one thing that, as I'm hearing you talk about the first book and then talking about the second book, I'm seeing a common theme about healing. Okay.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I think that's so important. So when reading your books, and even when people come and see you performing live, what would you say would be a theme or a message that you, as just as an artist, you want for your viewers to know? If they were going to define you and describe you, how would you want it to be done?
They will refer to me as honest and passionate about it, because the responsibility of a healing is this: if you are if you are blessed with the opportunity to experience a healing, it's your responsibility to give that very thing to somebody else to have the tool to heal. It's not for us.
Absolutely.
It's not
Yes.
a selfish thing. It's a selfless thing. And if I have all, like, if it was a millionaire, right? And if I had all the steps on how to be rich, and I keep that from my brother or sister, it should be a problem,
Right. Right.
Yes. So, yes,
So
ma'am.
you're definitely one that, and they say to whom much is given,
Yes.
I see that you're one to want to make sure that you give back. The
Yes.
knowledge that you have, the healing, if you have the answer for someone, whether
Mhm.
it's the how to heal or how to help in any way, I see that you're an artist. Your job is to get that information out there.
Yes. Yes.
I
Yes.
love that.
Yes.
So, what is your favorite piece that you have written and why?
Okay. So my favorite piece right now is Forever Love Always. And that piece is about unity in the community. It's
Ooh,
about, it says, the part in the piece says, a community cannot be a community without unity involved. And that's my favorite piece right now, because it's a powerful piece. It's like we need each other outside of what we believe. Oh, we only need us. No, that's not true. We need each other. So that's my
yeah.
favorite piece right now. Yes, yes, yes.
So, let me ask you this. I know you've been writing since middle school,
Mhm.
and I see that you're really big into helping the community. And I know that, you even said you want to be the voice for people who may have the words have fallen on deaf ears.
Yes.
What was your inspiration? How did this become such a strong mission of yours?
Okay, so when I lost my son, and I always talk about it because that was like my awakening for me. But when I lost him, it was like I was in so much darkness. Like I had other things that came up. Yes, depression was automatic, grief was automatic, but the other stuff that was coming up, like anger and bitterness, all those things started coming up. Because whenever you're going through it, it just bubbles to the surface.
Yes.
So with that, I had to dig deeper than what I was willing to go after, because I couldn't fix one thing without fixing another thing. So
Absolutely.
it's important that we get out there and we make sure that it's important to me, because if we heal and we come together and we speak life to each other, then it doesn't become a me mission, it becomes a us mission.
Yeah.
Because the body is one. The body is one. It doesn't matter what color, it doesn't matter where you are, it's just one body that it is. And if we can come together, then we can change a lot of stuff that's out there going in the wrong direction. So
Yes.
not just a mission for me, it's a mission for everybody. And it's sort of like, I thank God, I didn't plan on being any of this. He gave me something in the midst of when I felt like I had nothing. I had three other kids, but I felt like I had nothing. Like my heart was broken. Like, I don't know how much I could say that, but my heart was broken and I needed something. He gave me that. He was like, I'm going to not only let you write a book, but I'm going to give you a voice to those words that you've written in that book. Yes, yes,
So
yes.
even though you started writing in middle school,
Hmm.
it wasn't until you lost your son that this
Yes,
mission just came just really, really clear. And
yes.
about how long has that been now?
Since I lost him,
Yes.
okay, it's been 12 years. 12
Okay.
years. Yes,
So
yes.
these past 12 years, that's when you really got into speaking to God about, okay, you know what? This right here, I can heal others now that I'm healed. And is that when it really kind of developed in your mission, just healing and using your mouthpiece and just reaching the community?
Okay. Yes, that's what it is. And it's not me that's healing, it's God's word that He's given me that allow the healing to come forward. Even He has me singing. So it's like I
Mhm.
don't feel like I'm the best singer in the world, but I'm gonna be obedient to what I'm hearing. So I
Yeah.
can do what it is that He desired that I do. Because if it was up to me, I probably would have had my mouth shut. I wasn't gonna open my mouth or whatever, this and that. And it was like, no, like you say, much known is much required. It's not a selfish thing. It's like, now that you know, you gotta,
Yeah.
you know, yeah. So
So after performing on major platforms, co-hosting in the legendary jazz club, what is next for you? What can your fans expect? If we want to support you, what will we look to find you next?
okay. Hopefully next is more books and
That would be
more
great.
process. Yes, more in depth about more process to it, where I'm just talking about my story in general. So the next part, books, traveling, and whatever God has me going next would be great. But other than
Yeah.
that, I'm on Facebook, Altina Sims, and YouTube, Altina Sims. I'm on Instagram at I am underscore Altina Point Sims, as well as TikTok, Altina Sims 575. Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Okay. Okay. So I have to ask this because I know that we talked about you from the writing and
Okay.
from the spoken word in the writing books, but you manage to juggle so much. And I know that you also own a business. You are an
Yes,
entrepreneur. Tell me
yes.
a little bit about Pieces of Me.
Okay. So Pieces of Me is just not the jewelry. Pieces of Me is the spoken word, it's the book, it's every part of me that's put in whatever it is God gave me. So it's pieces of me. So
Oh,
not only
gotcha.
that, it's the
Okay.
jewelry line also, which is statement pieces that God gave me. It's called statement pieces that creates a conversation. So it's almost like another thing that He's doing through me. So Sometimes they'll see the piece and they'll be like, okay, where did you get that from? And it starts there, and then we end up talking about so many other things.
You,
Yes, yes,
you know, I'm looking at your earrings and
yeah.
talk about spark conversation. My first thought was, oh, I love those earrings. Where'd she get those earrings from?
Thank you, thank you. Yes, yes,
So it is always so nice just to hear like people in the community come and they share with us. It's when
mhm,
people express their talents, their creativity, because there are always people who can benefit from it, and there are always people who are trying to get to where you are. What do
yes.
you say for the people that they want to be a writer? They want to do spoken word or they write, but they don't have the courage to go and do it, to go speak out in public. Do you have any words of encouragement that you can say to them?
I would say write it, do it. And my favorite words from Sarah Jakes right now is do it afraid. Do it afraid, but do it.
Mm,
Because you don't know what's on the other side. The blessing is on the other side, but
mhm.
fear will try to grip it from you because the enemy doesn't want you to see the full potential of who you are. So what his goal is to take away what God already put in you or make you feel like you have to question what it is that God gave you. Don't question it. Trust it. Like I say, trust your gut, trust your heart. Trust your
Yes,
heart. Just
yes.
do it. Yes.
So
Yes.
I have to ask because that right there is such a big thing about
Mhm.
people facing their fear. And a
Yeah.
lot of times when we look up to people like you who've already done it, we don't necessarily see the struggle. We just think that we're the only ones struggling. Can you
Yes.
share with me, was there something in the past 12 years, once you started your writing process, once you started writing your books, what type of struggle did you deal with and how did you overcome it?
I would say be fearful because it's like, why would people listen to what I have to say? Why do what I carry? Why does it hold weight? You know, I'm just a high school student. I went to college for things that do not have anything to do with what I currently do. However, I would just say accomplish your fear. Like I deal with, now it's like even this situation was kind of nervous. It was a nervous thing for me because this is something new. But all things that are new is always going to be fearful because you're gonna it's new. It's new. It's
Right.
something you never did any, that you ever did before. But if you think about it, okay, even this or coming up with the questions or whatever it may be, it's like I go sometimes afraid. And I was like, okay, well, if I decrease, because my prayer is always like, it's not about me. I'm going to let you increase. And
That's
then
right.
it just
Yes.
comes out into whatever it's supposed to be. Because whatever it's supposed to be is going to be. But you cannot allow fear to grip you to the point that you don't do it. You just have to do it. Yes, yes,
You know
yes,
what? What you just said is golden. That
yes,
is golden because so many times we see what we want, but it's the fear that stops us. And
yes,
we see other people and we think, wow, and we think that the other people maybe had it easy or they had advantages. But the truth of the matter is they had hardships too. They just weren't afraid. They just went despite of being afraid.
yes,
And
yes,
so that's why I say it's so good to talk to someone that's around the same area that we're from. It just makes it that
yes,
much more credible that we can do it too. I
yes,
love when I hear I love when I hear the relationship, how God has played a role in this. God has played a
yes,
role. That right there is the cornerstone, and that's your force, that's your strength. Like you say, when I decrease, he will increase. And so I just think
yes,
I'm just so appreciative of these nuggets that you're just dropping right now. So much great stuff.
yes,
So much great stuff. So
yes.
I'll ask you one more question. What
Okay.
will be your final words that you will say when it just comes to, because I know we talked about you like to speak to social injustices, okay, and
Uh,
community, uplifting the community and being involved. Would there be any words that you would just like for to say to the community? I know that we've all been through so much in the community. Any uplifting words you would like to share with us?
I'm going to say walk by faith, not by sight. And I'm going to say exactly the piece, breathe, hood, breathe. Because in this time, and I'm not just talking about our hood and our community, I'm saying family. Hood is family. Neighborhood, that's family. It's a community that's supposed to care about each other, it's supposed to uplift each other, it's supposed to help each other. It's a neighbor. It's a neighbor, and it doesn't matter what color that neighbor is. It's about going forth. It's about being strong. It's about standing for something and not falling for anything. So I would say push forward and breathe in the midst of everything that's going on, even though it looks one way. Keep on breathing, because if you keep on breathing, that's still life. That means that whenever you walk in and you have life in you, then you can light up the room. Any
Yeah.
darkness around, you can be the light. Whatever it is, just breathe, take a deep breath and go forward, because it's for you, it's for us, it's for us to heal, it's for us to push forward. And God is going to bring us to every place that we're supposed to be. We just have to trust. You're in rooms for a reason, and that's
Yeah.
it.
That is
Yes,
so beautiful. That is
yes,
so beautiful. That is so much truth to that. That is so beautiful. And I thank you. Let me tell you, as I sit here and I'm watching you and I'm listening to you, it is evident that you are speaking what you have lived, that you are
yes,
speaking from a personal place that I have lived this thing. So I'm speaking what I know, not just
yes,
stuff I read or sounds good, but you're speaking what you know. And that's
yes,
what I was saying when I was watching you on YouTube and just watching your videos. When I say that it came from an authentic place,
yes.
realness. If I had to sum you up, I would say realness.
Thank
And
you.
after that, I would say empowering. And I really mean that. And then when you start talking about healing, I was like, that's what it was. I knew it was in my spirit. That's exactly.
Yes.
Altina Sims, I'm so happy to have been able to interview you. I thank you so much for your time. I appreciate all the information that you have given. I know it's going to really bless the people that watch this and the people in our community. I thank you so much. And we will definitely be looking out for your next books.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
If we come together, we'll have strength forever, forever endeavor, forever love always. If we come together, we'll have strength forever, forever endeavor, forever love always. United we stand, divided we fall. If it happens to one, it happens to all. We're not a community if unity is not involved. A problem continues to be a problem without an answer to solve. If we sow love, then love will be reaped back. If pride is a man's downfall, then we should heed that. Is the mic on? Mic check. Can I repeat that? If pride is a man's downfall, then you should heed that. We pray for healing, the healer will come. Stand in agreement and know that it's done. We're making a movement with a possible one, and I'll start with me, hoping others will come. If we come together, we'll have strength forever, forever endeavor, forever love always. If we come together, we'll have strength forever, forever endeavor, forever love always. Ha. If we come together, we'll have strength forever, forever endeavor, forever love always.